Hello and welcome to the channel. I am here for a ranking video for you guys. Now for this ranking, I'll be ranking the 70s era of Black Sabbath, which is basically the first 8 albums with Ozzy on vocals, right before he was replaced by Dio in the 80s. So yeah, we're just going to be sticking with the 70s era for this ranking, and we're going to be going from worst to best. And keep in mind that this is just my opinion. Also keep in mind, I don't think Black Sabbath has ever released a bad album in the 1970s. I think the first 8 albums are all great albums, but some just happen to be better than others, and this ranking was rather difficult too, so yeah. But I think this is a pretty consistent ranking I got here, so let's go ahead and begin. And at the bottom I got here Never Say Die. Now, I really like this album. I really like the title track, Johnny Blade, Shockwave, and a few others, but yeah, this is a great album for sure. Definitely underrated, but it just happens to be my least favorite in the 70s era. Besides the few songs that I've mentioned, the album doesn't have the best replayability, but I still think it's a very good album overall, but it is probably the weakest of the 70s material by Black Sabbath, so Never Say Die. It's still a very good album for what it is, but it's my least favorite of this era. Next up we got Technical Ecstasy. Now, I really like this album too. Many great songs like Backstreet Kids, It's Alright, and a few others as well, but yeah, Technical Ecstasy is definitely different, but it's a great album for sure. I definitely dig it. So yeah, definitely a very good album. Okay, so next up we got Volume 4. Now, this is of course another great album. I really like Tomorrow's Dream, Snowblind, and Under the Sun. These are all just fantastic songs. So yeah, I really like Volume 4. I know there might be some disagreements with this album being as low as it is on my ranking, but the album doesn't have the strongest replay value in my opinion, but there's definitely some great stuff on here, so yeah. I still think it's a great album overall, so Volume 4. So next up, we got the self-titled debut. I know there's going to be some disagreements with this album being towards the middle of my ranking. I'm sure there's a lot of fans that would have this album a lot higher, but I still think that this is a great album overall. I really like the title track, The Wizard, and NIB, of course. These are all fantastic songs, but definitely a great debut album. It's not a bad album by any means. I think it's a very solid release, and you could argue that this is the first heavy metal album to ever exist. I'd stand by that statement, honestly, so yeah. Self-titled debut album. Definitely a great album. So moving right along, we got Sabotage. Now, I know that there's going to be some people that disagree with this album being above Volume 4 and the debut album, but I don't know. There's a lot of songs on this album that I find myself going back to, such as Hole in the Sky, Symptom of the Universe, and a few others, of course. Definitely a great album. So yeah, I really like this album's production, and I think it has some really good instrumentation, and I think this has some of their best instrumentation as far as, you know, the guitar riffs and all that. Definitely a great album for sure, though. So, Sabotage. Okay, so now we're in the top 3. Now, at number 3, I got Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. This is, of course, an awesome album. I really love this album. It's definitely one of their best, I think. I really like the title track, Sabracadabra, Who Are You, Looking for Today, and many others, but yeah, this is a great album for sure. It also has my favorite Black Sabbath instrumental on here, which is entitled Fluff. I really dig this instrumental. It's, like I said, probably my favorite Black Sabbath instrumental song, but Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath is definitely a great album. Definitely a classic. So next up, we're at my second favorite of the 70s era. We got Paranoid, which is, of course, another one of their classics. I mean, every Black Sabbath fan knows this album, or at least should know this album. It's definitely an awesome album. Of course, you got classics like War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Fairies Wear Boots, and a few others. But yeah, this album is just, it's fantastic. Definitely a metal classic, and yeah, definitely can't go wrong with this album. So, Paranoid, definitely one of their best. But next up, at number 1, you guys might already know what my favorite Black Sabbath album is, and my favorite of the 70s. And that is Master of Reality. This album, I pretty much have no flaws with it. It's a classic, and about every song on here I think is excellent. Sweet Leaf, After Forever, Into the Void, and some others as well. But yeah, this album is just, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I'd recommend this to any metalhead. It's definitely a great album, and it's not only my favorite of the 70s era, but it's also my favorite Black Sabbath album. So, Master of Reality, just an excellent album. Well, there you go, guys. That is my ranking of the 70s era of Black Sabbath. Let me know how you guys would rank this era of Black Sabbath. So, with all that being said, let me know what you guys think of my ranking, and let me know what you guys think of the band Black Sabbath overall. So, let me know your thoughts. With that being said, thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and take care.